Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And my brothers and sisters, what we are going to discuss tonight is coming from the New York Times. They are sounding the alarm, oddly over Bruen, but also over the massive winds that we are stacking and racking on them all day long. They are even proclaiming there are 450 different lawsuits right now. And I'd like to thank them in advance for aggregating all this data. Everything will be linked in the description box below, and you guys are going to watch every second of this one because this is incredible. Let me know what you guys think in the comments field, and of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. And as you can see, we are back in the war wagon. It is great to be home. We had an amazing Thanksgiving, and boy, is this an amazing way to start back when they open up the computers and send this out. Check this out, people. You're going to love this. Courts strike down gun control measures in 2 states. Now, to set the table here, they're talking about Maryland and Oregon. We covered both extensively, all the wins that we just took there. But I want to draw your attention to what they're sounding the alarm on, because they're even referencing Everytown for Gun Safety sounding the alarm around 450 lawsuits against their gun control nationwide. This is a number they haven't said before, people. This is amazing. Let's get it. So this came out November 23rd, right before Thanksgiving. In the wake of landmark U.S. Supreme Court decision Bruen that significantly limits what the government can do to restrict guns, by the way, they finally got it right, restricted what the government can do to restrict guns, or limited what the government can do to restrict guns versus expanding gun rights, so props to the New York Times there. States led by Democrats have scrambled to circumvent or test the limits of the ruling. Circumvent. That's a pretty aggressive word. Let's keep going. A few have approved new gun restrictions. Oregon even passed a ballot initiative to ban high-capacity ammunition magazines. But this week, supporters of the new gun measures suffered a pair of setbacks, underscoring the rippling effects of the court's decision. Now, it's important to understand they're going after the Bruen decision, but the way in which they're doing it is the key point. I know they want to go after the Bruen decision. They've said that since it was released. What they're doing now is key. They will always tell you what they are terrified of. Again, this is Oregon and Maryland. Check this out. Still, let's talk about gun control experts. Still, they said that this week's decisions reinforced an unmistakable trend in which judges, especially ones appointed by Republican presidents, were interpreting the Second Amendment as broadly as possible. They're going after the judiciary, and keep that in mind. They just threw out the idea that Republican-nominated judges are now doing this and expanding gun rights and curtailing gun control. So that's important. Put a pin in that. We're going to come back. This is key to understanding this whole video. Watch this whole thing. Now, let's get into something from Pepperdine University, a gun controlling professor. Quote, "It's part of the zeitgeist of the courts saying we should take the right to keep and bear arms more seriously than we have been," said Jacob Charles, a law professor at Pepperdine University. Oh, yeah, no kidding, because you were running roughshod over the gun rights of American citizens until the Bruen decision came down, which was based on another instance of running roughshod over rights, and then you got your hand caught in the cookie jar. That's what we've been saying on this channel for 2.5 to 3 years. They overextended, they get slapped, that door closes, they have to reassess and realign. We've seen it in action, step by step, day by day. But let's continue. Quote, "There have been examples over the last 1.5 years where lower court rulings have been repeatedly and significantly been reading the Second Amendment pretty expansively and striking down laws that were never thought to be unconstitutional before Bruen." That's the point. Now let's get to the main thing here, because this is mind-blowing. The aftermath of Bruen has also prompted a surge in lawsuits challenging various gun laws. According to Giffords, a gun control group, with more than 450 decisions trying to interpret the case. The new laws are now being litigated and the courts takes various forms. 450 decisions are being basically interpreted around Bruen. That's the first quantifiable time that they've offered a quantifiable number to say 450 gun laws are on the chopping block because of the Bruen decision. You think they over-legislated a little bit? They're telling you what they're afraid of. That 450 number is an important one. But let's continue, because remember, Republican judges, right? Here we go. Preliminary research indicates that judges appointed by Republicans are far more likely to strike down gun regulation laws after Bruen, and said one of the paper's authors, Eric Rubin, a law professor at Southern Methodist University. Such was the case this week with Maryland, as the federal appellate court split 2-1 with an appointee of former President Donald Trump writing the majority opinion. Oh my God, Trump, orange man, bad. Yeah. And here we go. Remember that whole thing where I teased Republican earlier? Well, listen to when the shoe's on the other foot and how amazingly easy this becomes right off the tongue. Check this out. While mass shootings have significant impact on the psyche of America, they actually rank in very low frequency and are sensationalized by the media. This is the ratio in Oregon. Listen to what they say in this article. In a statement, Oregon's Attorney General Ellen Rosenblum, a Democrat, pledged to file an appeal and express confidence that the state would win. The case could ultimately be heard by a state Supreme Court whose 7 members have all been appointed by a Democratic governor. Well, look how that worked out. Earlier in this article from the New York Times, it is evil. Republicans are more likely because they've been appointed by Republican presidents. Therefore, they are bad because Bruen is setting the table for them to run roughshod all over gun control. 450 cases on the books right now. And then in the end of the article, it's okay because Oregon's probably going to get overruled because 7 judges were appointed by Democrats there. You can't make the hypocrisy up. But now let's boil down to the entire point of this video. They will always tell you what they're terrified of. The Bruen decision was something they freaked out about then, and they're freaking out about it now. As time has gone on, about a year and some change, you've seen up to 450 cases against gun control being brought in the courts because it's open season on gun control, because the rules changed, because there were no rules where they were abusing them before. The left was abusing them before. They were unconstitutional, and all it takes is one ruling from the Supreme Court to make all their well-known battle lines be behind the lines of acceptability, and then they have to move them backwards. That's what you're seeing here. This entire thing is all around the Bruen decision and making them redraw the battlefield and basically make the attempt to say how scary this is. There's 450 gun laws. You want domestic violence abusers to have guns? You want guns everywhere? All the pieces that you're seeing. This is the first time they've given you a quantifiable number, and they've quoted Giffords.org, all sorts of different gun control apparatus around how the expansionist idea of a gun right is being abused by Republicans, but when it's being curtailed by Democrats, it's perfectly fine, all of which are judges. They are going against the judiciary. They've done it at the SCOTUS, and they're going to continue to do it down the ballot, or down the judiciary stack, because the more that they do this, the more they're going to lose. The more that they're going to lose, they're going to go to unconventional attacks. That's what you're seeing against the judges, and you're going to see more of it. They are terrified, make no mistake, but their tactics are changing, and they're drawing your attention right to their plans, and that's what I've got for you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments field below, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.